Hey, good afternoon. I'm excited to be on the Crafty Bunch page hop hosted by Cheryl from Mama P's Creations. And I just hopped on a few minutes early so that I could make sure everything is on and then they can share me into the group. My time was to go live at 1:45. It's a crafter's choice page hop, and I always love this because you can do whatever you want. And I've been meaning to work on my journal and I just haven't had time. So I'm not going to be putting it together, but I'm going to kind of show it to you and kind of tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find myself to share myself out. So let me see if I can find me. So let me know. Okay, Mama P said she has shared me. Thank you again, Cheryl, for hosting this event and allowing me to join in on the fun. So it's going to be all day long. The best thing that you can do is go into the Crafty Bunch group, and you can actually follow all of the presenters all day long. And all you have to do is hit refresh inside of the group, and it's going to be so much fun. My friend Michelle Bell Creations, she's going to be on here today too. I'm just going to say, join me for a fun craft. So I have to hurry because I'm not used to the time restraint. It's only 45 minutes. So I shared myself out to my personal page, and I'll share myself out to my group here in a minute. Okay, so let me just show you. So my friend Michelle, who I just talked about, and Amanda and I, we have this monthly mystery box. This was my my contribution. This was the November box, the mystery box that I created, and I just haven't had a chance to work on this. Oh wait, I just realized. Here we go. That would be better, right? So I haven't had a chance to work on this. So this is actually upholstery fabric, and so I created the outside, and I really haven't worked much on it. I did a lot this month in November. I sewed these pockets out of wallpaper, and this was super fun to do. And then inside there's just a lot of fun stuff. There's papers. I made these little bookmarks and I sewed them and I collaged them. That was super fun. So I have all of these things, and I've showed it a couple of times, but I want to create some more things that I can use inside of my book because I don't have enough coffee dyed paper. I need to make some more paper. And so I want to create some things that I can put in here. So as you can see, the colors are like just fall colors, but I'm adding some greens to it. And I love collaging with napkins. I love decoupaging with napkins. I love creating lots of things with napkins. I've even put napkins on furniture before. You can decoupage them onto anything and everything. I love mixed media art with them. So this is a beautiful watercolor fall colors. I mean, look at how great it works with this journal cover, which I still have yet to figure out how I'm going to embellish it because it's plain right now. And then I'm going to cover up this too, but I was waiting. I bought one of those crocodiles that go all the way in. So I'm going to create some eyelets, some holes with eyelets in here, and then I'm going to cover it up. So I still have a lot to do. And then I also, inside of the pack, this green color also, this like cheesecloth came in with the pack, just a strip of it. So I still have a lot left and I want to play with it. So I pulled these two napkins. I love magnolias, and it kind of looks like a poinsettia, kind of, right? Kind of ish. So this is like a really high quality napkin. It feels like fabric. This one is it's a nice one, but it's not as thick as this one. So I just want to show you the different options. And so I'm going to do a couple of different things. So I have these really large, let me see if I can raise this up a little bit, maybe. There we go. Okay. So, hi, Kathy. Kathy is next. Can't wait to see what you do, girl. Hey, Callie. So, okay, let me see. There we go. All right, so I have these large sheet music. I usually use hymnal music, but I didn't have anything that was large. So I'm going to make some envelopes using this hymnal pages. And then I had some paper that I had put into my kit, the one that I sent in November. So I have a couple of different sheets. And sometimes I don't like what the paper says. So if I don't like what the paper says and I don't want to see the words, you know, because this was about like the Jews, the history of the Jews. And so I don't necessarily want to see some of the text because some of it is a little bit odd. So what I like to do, hi, Creations by Linda. Welcome. So what I like to do is push it back with gesso or a white acrylic paint. I actually had a little bit of DIY paint here. This is what I retail. And it's like thick on the bottom. So I just added a little bit of water and I let it dry right before I went live so that I could play with it. So I wanted to show you that. And then I have some envelopes that I'm probably going to use as tags, and then also some cards, index cards, because I like my tags to be kind of sturdy. So this is really brittle paper. And so I'm going to start with one of them first. So I'm assuming that most people have played with napkins before. This is not anything new. It's just something that I really love to do. And I wanted to create some envelopes and tags for my journal. So napkins either have 2 or 3 plies. So I went ahead and I started. The first one always comes off fairly easily. I always save this because this is one way that you could push back the words or the text or the images. You don't think magnolias look like poinsettias? Magnolias are a local flower. I love magnolias. I have a magnolia tree in front of my yard. I used to have a magnolia bedspread. So this one, and you know, this is in our world. We can make up whatever, right, Callie? So this one has a little bit of a ghost print on it, and I love using these in collages and decoupaging because when you put this on, you know, some text, it will show up some. So I always save my napkins. And then this one, I can use it to push something back if it's too bright or I just want to dull it down, or I can stamp on it, or I can tape it to some copy paper and run it through my printer and print an image, text, whatever I want. So with these, I'm definitely going to be doing some tags. So I wanted to put that to the side, just show you. So this is super, super thin, but listen to the sound. This is like ASMR coolness, right? This particular napkin has some really cool texture to it. So I started this one. This one was kind of hard. Now this one, it's kind of quilted all over. So when they're quilted, sometimes you have to be really, really careful so that you don't rip it. Because especially when a napkin gets wet, it is super, super fragile. So I'm just going to pull this apart, and I'm going to do 2 different ways. So you can use a glue stick on napkins if you're doing it on paper, and that works. You can also use like Liquitex matte fluid medium. I like to use that a lot. Should I do it this way? Yeah. Okay. I like to use this a lot for stuff, especially if I'm doing mixed media art. If I'm doing thick paper, I like to use the gel matte medium. And I have a couple of different kinds on my website. Not this brand, but they all work pretty well. So here, what I want to do is I want to cut out some of the flowers. And I forgot to grab a little brush. So I'm just going to use this, and I wet it, and I'm just going to kind of just cut it out, make a little line, and it only cuts where I want it to, and then where I don't want it to cut, because I made some wide lines there, I'm just going to use my fingers and encourage it along. And I like doing it this way because it gives me what I call a jaggedy edge, like an organic edge. And so, let me see. I don't want to cut that. All right. So then I can just take bits and pieces of the napkin and put it on my paper. So, or I can do the whole thing. So I'm going to show you both ways. So this is big enough, but I knew I was going to have some extra to do this with. So again, you can take glue stick and you can glue this on. But the paper is brittle, and I have a silicone mat right here, and it's the water cutting. Yeah, water cutting. So what I'm going to do is, you can do either the gel medium. The gel medium takes a little bit longer to dry. Is this even hard? It might not be. All right, I've had this for a while. So you can use gel medium, and it's a thick gooey thing, or you can use the liquid. And I'm going to do this one. I'm going to spread this all over. The reason that I like this for this technique is because I don't want my napkin to break, and I want it to be durable, because this paper is kind of brittle. Now, when you add the glue, usually it does okay, but I want to go ahead and get this all on here, and I want my napkin to be secure, and I want it to be durable as well. So I'm just going to do an even coat. So now I'm going a little bit lighter because I had probably a little bit too much, but that's okay. So I'm just even layer. And I'm hoping that I can do this because I actually am sweating. I have the fan on. I have the fan on because it is really hot, warm. It's warm out today. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to get this on here. And all right, I'm going to use my brush, and I'm going to go ahead, and if it gets wrinkled, like, that does not bother me. I wasn't trying. If I wanted this to be perfectly, I would have done it a little bit at a time, but that's not what I want. I want the wrinkles. I want it to be kind of aged. I want it to be really interesting looking, because when you do this, I'm going to put a little bit more on top. Then you can use some waxes, and or paint, and you can, pull out the texture. But the napkin just blends and just seeps right into the paper. The one thing that you don't want is you don't want it to have any kind of bubbles. You want it to be adhered very well, especially your edges. And another way that you can get it nice and applied very nice and without wrinkles and straight is if you do it like this on the top side and not put anything down on the bottom. You can do that if you're using a wet medium. Sometimes I'll use DIY Paints liquid patina for this as well. It just, when you do this, it gives it a different texture, and I really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave this, let this go. And there's so many wrinkles, and I love it. But you can see the paper. So let me see if I can. Let me go like this. Okay, let me see. Usually I can move that, but it's not letting me. Fearlessly Unique by Simone. Hey, girl. How are you doing? All right, so I'm going to let this dry, and I might help speed it up a little bit. So we're just decoupaging napkins onto old sheet music. And I just have a silicone, which takes the heat. I've used this table quite a lot. You might hear some noises in the background. My dog, she's just had puppies a week ago. And for some reason, she's hacking. I don't know why she's hacking, but she must have ate something and she's trying to get it out. It's bothering her. So she's been making noise. And sometimes the puppies will start making noise. You might be able to hear them. You're doing well? Good. Alright, so we're just going to let this dry here. And then I'm going to show you, let's see. I'm going to show this to you. And see how you can see the sheet music behind it? And when it dries, it's going to be really quite lovely. And then if you want to reinforce the other side with tissue paper, you can. And I probably will. Oh, I had two. Can you hear her? I'm sorry. She's like coughing up a lung. All right. So I'm going to put this one to the side a little bit there. So I cut this piece out, and I can still use all of these edges because I still have a good bit of this napkin. So as you can see, like all of this is flimsy, so we don't throw away scraps. Scraps are gold, and we can use them for lots of different things. But I want to go ahead and use this napkin, and I want to do tags with it. And again, this is a different texture. And I'm going to use one of these napkins. So I'm going to show you just using glue. Let me see. I don't know. This one has a lot more music, so I'm going to do this one. And I'm just going to use a glue stick. I'm going to put this in water. This is important because your brush will ruin. Hey, Joyce. No, you're live, girl. You're watching me live. I'm just playing. So I wanted to make more watercolor, but at the last two lives I did watercolor, and there's nothing wrong with that because I need to make a whole bunch of little cards. I want to send some watercolor, like thank you cards to different clients, and I have a bunch of them to do. And I thought, oh, that would be something good, and then create some envelopes because I'm going to create some handmade envelopes for them. But I thought I really need to work on this. I haven't had a chance to work on my journal, and I've done a couple of watercolor and stamping. So I just thought this is what I need to do because I haven't really had a lot of time to sit and play. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one down. And of course, this is faster, but you just get a different feel. So I'm just working out all of the bubbles. I don't care about wrinkles, even in this application, but in this one, usually you can get them out pretty well. I love using napkins over paper. And of course, this is super flimsy still, even though, let me see if I can. I'm going to use this to really try to get it. There we go. Because I want there to be good adhesion. But for me, this is great, but it's still too flimsy for me. So this is why I had those extra napkins that I'm going to use. Where's my scissors? Actually, let me see if I can use this. So let me know if you guys use napkins for your, let me see if I can do it. It gets stuck a little bit. Technically, you should really wait for your glue to dry. But see how much I have left? Like, oh, let me not put that there. I have a bunch left. So I love this watercolor napkin. I may not have gotten some glue there, but you could always use Liquitex over it, or liquid patina, like I said, to get it over. So to sturdy it up, you could use index card or an envelope. So I decided that I'm going to use an envelope. I like using the envelope because when you put it all together, it's super, super sturdy. So what I'm going to do is, while we wait for the magnolia to dry a little bit better, I'm going to go ahead and seal this up. And this is really great for those envelopes that you kind of broke up. You didn't cut it very well. But see, the two pieces of paper, the envelope's already a sturdier stock. And then when you glue it together, it's even better. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue this. And I'm going to add some art glitter glue as well. I just filled up my little bottle too. So I'm just going to reinforce the edges. Oops. Oh, look at that. I didn't close it very well, did I? Can't lose art glitter glue. Let me see. Probably should have. And I thought about cleaning it. Let me do that very quickly. I always have baby wipes. It's like a crafter's best friend, right? To have baby wipes. Those are one of the things that I can't do without. Always have to have baby wipes. Let's see if that does better. Shh, don't bark. Okay. All right, so, and this is not going to go all the way to the end anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and see how well I can do this. Oh, I probably need to. I went a little bit crooked, but that's okay. That's all right. And then on the back side, I'm going to do coffee dyed paper. That's my plan. So I'm going to cut this. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. I like torn edges, and it's so much faster. And see, just makes it easy. And so I can take this and I will put it in to the back. And what we'll do is we'll cut off this top. Oops. So you could use this as an envelope if you wanted in your journal, but I am going to use it as a tag. And let me see, I may have to cut it down some. So I'll probably cut it a little bit on the bottom and a little bit on the top. All right, let's do that. So since I'm cutting it like this, it really could turn into an envelope or a pocket. Since now this is open. Love the napkins, but I did just work on a large project using gift tissue. So yes, hey Diana. I'm going to take that off. So I have some gift tissue, and you know which one it is because I've used it often. And I wanted to use this because this is John 3:16. So I was going to use that on another one. I love using gift tissue, and I love using napkins. So I have some coffee dyed paper, and I figured, and see, this is paper that I had used on my printer, and I don't know what happened. I had these lines, and sometimes if it just prints a little something and I don't need it, I put it in a stash so that I can recycle it and use it for collaging or for coffee dyed paper, because half the time I throw something on there anyway, so why waste a whole sheet of paper? So I am going to put it on this way just so the lines are on there because it's kind of cool. And then we'll just clean up everything, but I think this will work really, really well. And then I'm going to fold that under, so I'm going to cut this. And honestly, you could even keep that and you could hinge that in like that into your journal. Should I do that? I think that's a good idea. I think I will. So I'm going to cut this top off. And this was some extra black threading from my sari silk. And I thought, oh, this would be good for some collaging. So I think I am. I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. And then, of course, you could put some words here and stamp some words right there. That would be really cool. If you didn't want to hinge it in, if you wanted to hinge it in this way, because you could hinge it in this way, and then you can add words and keep that in your journal. Wouldn't that be really nice? I always like to ink my edges, but this is so much sturdier than just the regular tissue paper. And my tissue paper is, you know, really flimsy, but it's protected. That paint, it kept sticking on here. So I think I had glued this. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So if I want to make this a little bit bigger, there we go. It was sticking to itself, so I'm just putting in my little thing to make it wider. So I think I'll leave this one as a pocket instead of doing this one as a tag. But if you wanted to seal this and just cut it, you could have it as a tag. It would be really quite lovely. So we're going to do that. And then this is nice journaling area. But I really like doing this, and you could write a handwritten card inside, you know, and present it to people. Like, so you could make that watercolor card and have something really pretty and then present it to them without this flap. Or if you were putting it in a journal, you could write something really nice that you love about them on the back and then put that in the front of a journal. Make it a simple journal. That would be so cool. Callie says she'd be right back. All right, so like this one that I added some paint and I pushed it all back. I thought it would be really cool to this thread. It's so funny to add this on here and let me see, maybe I'm going to push it up a little bit like that, and that would make a really, really cool page, you know. And you could still journal here all around. You can add some stickers because you won't see the text, but you'll have this really pretty page that you could add into your journal, put it in a pocket, like if it's a bigger one, or you could hinge this in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one. And when I add the glue, I used DIY paint, which does not have a sealer in it. And so there's a lot of texture and you can feel it. But the glue is going to seal the paint. But I'm only going to put this glue in the areas where I want it. So I'm going to see how brittle that paper is. I'm going to cover that up. And I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. And if you had wanted, if you were so inclined, you could, where's my, there we go. This is Vintage Photo. You could put this on an acrylic. I'm just going to age it a little bit more because I like inking my edges. Even though it's got some natural aging, I want to add more. But if you wanted to add some to the paper, to the napkin, you could spritz some water down on some acrylic and just put some of that ink, and you can age the paper. But I just feel like this looks so pretty, and you can, like I said, write a little note, and you can fold it up. You know, you could even make this into an envelope. So you could make a small envelope out of this by going like this. And I will have to add something here because it's talking about something with death. I don't know. But look at how pretty this envelope would be. So all you would have to do is glue the sides. But I think what I would do for something like this is to go ahead and maybe add, just strengthen it up. Add a little bit of coffee dyed paper. You could also add another napkin. And that would make a really pretty envelope, don't you think? 214. I have till 245. Okay, let me see. Is this one? This one is dry. All right, let's cut this up. And let's actually make the envelope out of this one. I love making handmade envelopes. I made a whole bunch of gift certificates for a local boutique that was doing like some swag bags. And oops, rip that up. And I made some really pretty envelopes with these glittery cardstock. Kind of regretted it a little bit just because it was absolutely beautiful cardstock, and it was like, it was you can't find it anymore. It was old. It was an old one. All right, so I want this to be this way. So to make an envelope, you want it to be a square. So I'm going to try to make this a square. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just take off the top. Let's see. All right, so here at this line. So it's a good thing it's sheet music. All right, let's see. At that second line. Okay, so that's 8 inches. And see, I won't throw this away because these are great. Yes, 2:30 is my end time. Yes. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and right where the H is, actually, where it ends. I don't know how straight that is, but see, all of these scraps we can use for collaging, and that would make something really pretty. All right, let me cut this off. I knew that was going to be hard. Let's see. Okay. So, of course, you can do it like I did here. You can just fold it like this. But whenever I do the square, I just bring these in to the middle-ish. If you want to know exactly what the middle is, you can draw a line and you can draw a little dot to get your middle. Yeah, I love this napkin. It's so pretty. But I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to kind of eyeball it. And then you bring this up. And then bring this down. Let's see. I need to bring it down a little bit more. All right. And then, see, it was a little bit off, but that's okay. And so now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and cut these little triangles right here. So if you have an envelope maker, or do you say envelope? I say it both ways. You can do this. It'll do it for you. You know, you just line it all up. But this one seems to work. Okay. So I think it was this way. So you can tuck this in and fold it like this so that it's straight. or you can, okay, Kathy's going to get ready for her live. You don't want to miss it. I'm sure she's going to do something fabulous. All day long, everyone is going to do something fabulous. I know it. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this, and now this is an envelope, and so you could make whatever you want in here. And listen, don't get so caught up that everything has to be perfect, because it doesn't. Only God is perfect. We are not perfect. We're not anything close to being perfect. So aim for having fun. Aim for enjoying the process and learning. And okay, well, I can figure that out. I can do that a little bit better next time. Or I can, you know, try something, a different way of doing it. But like, don't get upset. Sorry that she's hacking. Ginger. Poor thing. I don't know what is going on with her. And I like to curve out the bottom. And then of course I'm going to go ahead and ink it all around. So if you wanted this to be a little bit sturdier, I would definitely have put another piece of paper on the inside or the back side of this, and it would make it a little bit sturdy. But when you use the liquid matte medium, it really gives it some texture. Thank you, Diana. It really does give it some texture and makes it just, you know, if there's someone that you know that likes texture and likes to feel different things, this is a great way to do that. And then of course, if you don't like it, you could wax it. I like to wax paper a lot, and I just use DIY Paints clear wax. I did a live a couple of months ago where I actually took some soy pellets because we bought a whole bunch. I was making candles, and because I have to do all the things. Like, do you feel me? Like, do you have to do all the things? I have to do all the things. I have to try it. So I have a lot of soy. So I actually was looking at the napkin that I waxed that last time when I did that live, and I was looking at it, and it turned out super, super cool. It really did. I like to ink both. So this is definitely a little bit flimsy because of the paper that I use, and because, again, I'm using napkin. But how cool is this inside of a journal? And then especially if I add this paper. So I like to repeat patterns. And so I could have this somewhere and then have this like flip in or in a tuck spot, you know, and I think it'll look really good because I don't want it to have too much orange. Let's go ahead and let's sturdy this one up with some 221. Okay. I'm just going to use art glitter glue. Using glue also strengthens your projects as well. So if you don't want it to be extra strong and bulky, you can just do the edges. I like to do all of it. I like the way that it feels when you glue an entire piece of paper. But you can do it however you would like. You can use whatever glue you like. I love using art glitter glue, and I love using this glue stick. So this definitely strengthens that up so much. And I'm going to go ahead. Of course, I will keep that. That's a good scrap, so I'm not going to get rid of that one. And let's go ahead and do it this way. And, you know, I kind of like this sticking out like that. You could cut it if you didn't like it. It kind of just makes it look a little bit more interesting. That I'll probably throw away, but I'm going to go ahead and get in here and make sure that my edges, you always want your edges to be nice and adhered. And then I'm going to go ahead and, oh wait, this is going to be an envelope. right? I forgot. So maybe it doesn't have to be an envelope. Maybe it could be a little folded thing, because it's kind of like it as a piece of paper. But I already made the creases. So we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. But I do want to ink up here. Well, I say that, but I like rounding out my edges. So if you have some flimsy paper like this, take another paper to make it bulkier. Let's see. I could feel it. It was too flimsy. Let me see. Oh, I need to glue that. And I'll tell you this, wait for your glue to dry before you do this, because you really don't want to mess up your cutter. So I would do that. And then all I will do is, all right, so since I'm doing it as an envelope, I'm going to go ahead and cut the edge on top. And then, all right, but let's see if I can get this. See, I like that rounded edge so much better than a straight edge. Let's see. And then I can. All right. And then you can stamp the inside of that, or like have a nice little message on here. Yes to all the things, Nicole. I know. The struggle is really real, right? It's so real. I definitely will add something on here. I'm going to cover this up. I have been addicted to this stamp, and then I've got another one. So I think I'm going to do that on here. I'm at 225. Guys, don't forget that all you have to do is refresh the page, and all of the crafters, the presenters, are going to be seen. So much easier to do it that way than to, I'm just going to use the, see now, look at that. I just offloaded my stamp, and so now that's perfect for collaging or, embellishing, adding something to it. So here we go. And then you can add some stickers here, add something else if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the corners right here, just the edge, and let that sit. I could have done a thumb notch here too, but I think I left enough room here. But if you like a little thumb notch, that would be really pretty. And I'll tell you what we can do is we can add this little piece of napkin. See, like nothing can go to waste, or nothing has to go to waste. I'm just going to cut this out. Maybe I can use this one. Actually, I'm going to use this one. Just to cover up, let me see, some of that text. And it kind of repeats it over there. So I'm going to do that on the bottom. But you could put another sticker. I like to use even on top, some sentiments, like, you know, those Tim Holtz sentiments, the black and white with, or the gold text. See, that just kind of reinforces. I don't know what I added there. And a little bit of that napkin is pulling up. So I'm just going to lay that down. And it just seriously melts right in. So whatever napkin you have, it doesn't have to be themed out. Whatever you put on the inside could be, or it could not be. It doesn't have to be, for a specific theme. Whatever napkin you have, you can use this and make a cool envelope. And then where's the, so we've got that one, we have this one, and I even like, even though there's text behind it, I like using this little and having it just, I don't know, it fills it up for me here. And it just adds some more texture and some more goodness. And so we can make, I can make an envelope out of this part and have the coordinating. See, this is so much sturdier. See, can you see the difference? Because I backed this onto what do you call it? Junk mail envelope. I use a junk mail envelope, like the return address envelopes that they send you. I also like using bank envelopes. These are great to do this with. And spicing up your journal. Like I said, how cool would it be if you wrote a nice little letter inside of these bank envelopes, and then you could even put like a little gift card. You know, you can make a pocket on the outside and just use your napkins that you have, your whatever stash, or tissue paper. And I love using tissue paper too. I buy tissue paper all the time. I'm trying to think of, like I said, and especially if you have this ghosting napkin, it's really cool. And then I do have these stamps, and it's $2.29. I'm just going to show you. I love using these numbers. It kind of grunges it up. See if I can do one. It's $2.30. Really quickly. Yeah, I'm going to do it on this one. See, look at how cool that is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an incredibly blessed day. Just refresh.